Alright boys, so welcome back. First things first, the update is dropping tomorrow on December the 14th from 8 PM GMT or UCT I think it is. This is of course for the Air Superiority Major Update, where we are going to be getting the SU-27, the T-90M and the F-15. Alright boys, so the main reason that I'm gracing you with my presence tonight is the Winter Extreme event. This is starting on December the 20th, which I think is next Wednesday or next Thursday, and it's lasting until January the 9th. So if you're off for work or off for school, you should be able to get this done pretty easily. This is the type of event where you have to grind out 40,000 battle points, I guess, in a 40,000 mission points, sorry, in random battles. Of course, using rank 3 or higher. You have to do this for naval, air realistic, or air vehicles and ground vehicles individually. So you have naval missions, ground realistic missions, and then air realistic, I guess. You can do it in arcade and simulator, but most people are playing realistic. You can of course buy these marks of distinction for golden eagles if you have some left over from any of the previous sales, I guess. You can actually use these. I think it's 999 golden eagles for one mark of distinction. It's not terrible, especially sometimes the vehicle that you get are actually worth, well, it's quite hard to say really. But anyway, let's take a look at our reward vehicles. Okay, so the first reward for the air realistic players is going to be the J9 Early. This thing has two 7.62mm not cannons, machine guns in the nose, as well as two 13.2mm machine guns in the wingtips. This is actually a pretty decent little plane, or at least it should be. The 13mm machine guns found on a lot of Swedish planes are incredibly powerful. It's almost certainly going to be, well, it's going to be a very low battery rating, but it should go up quite high because those guns are certainly no joke. It also has a recon camera located in the side of the fuselage. Not really that important in War Thunder, but in real life, I guess it was for taking pictures of women on beaches or something. I don't know, probably for, it's obviously for recon, not for being a pervert. But anyway, this is the only premium that we're going to be getting in this event. The rest, of course, being high-tier event vehicles. And Gaijin is actually been listening to our complaints over the last couple of years. We do not get a copy and paste ground strike vehicle or attacker. We now get a copy and paste fighter bomber, I guess. It's quite hard to be critical of Gaijin though here. The Mirage 2000C is one of the better planes in War Thunder and one of the better planes in the French tech tree. You get the exact same engine, you get the exact same missiles, we get the Magic 2s, which are all aspect and 30G or 35G, I can't remember off the top of my head. We also get the 530Ds, which are constant wave guided, and unlike the F versions, which are pulse modulated, aren't defeated by a single drop of chaff. So the Mirage 2000C is going to be a pretty decent reward in my opinion. The only thing that I can find, or the only negative I can find compared to the other Mirage 2000C, is you get less flares on this. I think you get 50 or 40, something like that. You get the exact same engine as the Mirage 2000 S5, I believe. You get the same weapons. I don't really know what the difference is between the loadouts. You get a load of SNEB type 23 rockets, so if you're trying to grind this thing out stock, you can just take an absolute shit ton of gunfire rockets, and with the CCIP of the planes, radar and gun sight, you'll be able to just spam bases with rockets like all the other ground strike retards in top tier air rabbi at the minute. He says here 54 charges of flares and chaff. Can't really complain, to be honest though. For a free plane, if you just play the game really, 54 charges of flares and chaff is certainly nothing to scoff at. Just stay low and just take flares and you should do fine. It's, as I said, it's quite hard to dunk on Gaijin here. This seems like a pretty solid reward. It allows you to basically skip the entire French tech tree. Most of the French planes aren't really worth the grind, and if you just get this thing unlocked or you buy it for Gaijin coins on the store, it's pretty much, it's 99% of the performance for 50% of the grind pain, I guess. So I'd say this is well worth the grind if you are a connoisseur of top tier realistic battles. For me personally, realistic is a little bit of a it's just awful at the minute trying to play top tier jets, but that's just me being a skill issue. I need to side climb and buy a better gaming chair, I guess. For the naval players, we are getting the USS Mississippi. This is actually well, it's a very good event vehicle, to be honest. This is the most modern battleship. Well, it will be the most modern battleship in the American tech tree for some reason, and it is an event vehicle. In terms of the firepower, there's not much difference between this and the Arizona. They both have 12 14-inch guns. The USS Mississippi, though, did receive several refits throughout her life. You can see that we are missing the casemate mounts, which were a World War I design. And in World War II, these were all gutted. You had a shit ton of 5-inch 38s added to this. Can't really see them here though on this video. They should be there. Maybe they're the 5-inch 28, sorry. But it also has a absolute metric ton of 40mm Bofors and 20mm Oerlikons on it as well. Not many people play closer support in top tier naval because it is a death sentence from like 10 kilometers away with the radar, few shells and stuff. But it's going to have fantastic firepower. It's the most modern ship. It was laid down at the end of World War II, where I think the Arizona was... the USS Nevada was mid-World War I, and the Arizona was early World War I believe. Whereas the Mississippi was laid down in 17 or 18 or something like that. So quite a strange choice, but very good reward if you are a American naval player. It's very hard to complain, to be honest. Am I going to play 40,000 mission points in naval, though? That's a very good question. Almost certainly you guys aren't either. Alright, so for the ground realistic players, we have the Boxer. It's a bit of a shame that this thing doesn't come to the British tech tree. The British don't have any light vehicles really at top tier, and this would have been a very nice addition. The British also have Boxer. We've just started receiving them, so it would have been a nice crossover. For this Boxer Vilcast, this is a Lithuanian variant of the Boxer. By the way, this thing is absolutely massive. I'll try and put a picture of a Boxer next to a LAV or some other wheeled vehicle. These are absolutely ginormous. They like tower over the Challenger 2s. It's quite strange to call these scout vehicles or light tanks because they are literally the size of like a one-story house. Anyway, it's a 8x8 chassis with pretty decent mobility. It's got a 30mm autocannon. It can also carry the Spike missiles. I think this is similar to the KF-41, where it has missiles in like a little pouch on the top of the turret, which will then pop up when you want to fire them. It might say how many Spike ATGMs we get. I don't remember seeing it though. It should be pretty fast though, 103 kilometers per hour. You certainly cannot complain. It's kind of just going to be a Puma on wheels with spikes, to be honest. Like I say though, the height of the vehicle, you might not be able to tell from these images, but it is incredibly tall. So you might allow you to shoot over protection or shoot over like obstacles. It also means that your gun depression is going to be quite limited in most areas of the map. You also aren't going to be able to hide because, once again, this thing is insanely tall. It's like the Class 3P. It's just... you just cannot comprehend why they made a vehicle so bulky. But anyway, 40,000 mission score every 2 days for 16 days in a row, I guess, or you know what I'm trying to say. It's a pretty decent reward. It's not as good as the Mirage 2000C in my opinion. I think it's going to be selling for about 40 Gaijin coins, 30 Gaijin coins around that area. The Mississippi will probably be a little bit higher because naval vehicles are always more expensive because not many people play it. And I think the Mirage 2000C will be kind of like the Kafia C2. It'll be fairly cheap as soon as it gets put on the marketplace, but then it will skyrocket in price in a couple of years. So if you do want to make a bit of money this update or this event, I'll try and grind out the Mirage 2000. That's probably the best vehicle, to be honest. Can't really get on it. That will probably be my pick if you're trying to make some money. But anyway, lads, I'm not going to take up any more of your time. Please like the video and subscribe and all that good stuff. I'll see you tomorrow for the update.